that we're recording right now. There we go. And I've got a little goodie for you guys. I've gone and made a little spreadsheet or a little sheet that you guys are welcome to click on, bookmark for later. And it just kind of has a little outline of the information I'm covering here today, that Craigslist auto poster. It's got some links to our various support articles on some of the subjects that we'll talk about here today. As well, it's got links to other helpful articles and links if you're looking for more resources, such as that Inside Real Estate YouTube channel. You can go ahead and find that link in here as well. So as promised, I will pop that in the chat for you guys as well. So just letting you know that one that I've already popped in the chat for you guys is today's agenda. And here is our YouTube channel. All right. If you go head on over to videos, I think eventually we'll have a playlist for all of these as well, so you can find them more easily. But find a lot of helpful videos on various KV Core related topics in our YouTube channel there. Additionally, sometimes what I like to do just in my little cheat sheet here for you guys, I may also put today's recording link down at the bottom for an easy way for you to access this later on. So this is our agenda for today, and let's get into a little bit more about today's topic. So today's topic is about that Craigslist auto poster and default agent text code. And if you're not sure what it is I'm talking about, I'll go ahead and I'll kind of go back to basics. But I would love to see or just get some feedback here. We always tend to have a mixture of people that are very experienced in KV Core and some newer people. Might pop a little poll in here, launch a little poll, get some feedback for how new or how experienced our audience is here today. If any of you out there have used the Craigslist auto poster or edited your default agent text code, maybe you raise your hand or, pop in the chat. Okay, not a problem. Just seeing some messages in the chat there. Okay, so we see Anthony has done some of these features in KV Core. Not seeing a lot of shows of hands. Seems like we've got a fairly diverse group here today. Okay. Thank you guys for the feedback. Helps me get a better picture of where you're at. I want to make sure that this information is interesting and relevant to what's helpful for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close out that poll. Thank you guys for those of you that answered in on that. So just a little bit about that Craigslist auto poster and default agent text code. So the Craigslist auto poster is found within your KV Core listing tab. It's one of those navigation tools on the left-hand side right here. And keep in mind that your KV Core account should be connected to your MLS. So you don't have to go and sign into the MLS. You can go here to your listings tab, see all the same sort of information. And you'll find when you go to, more actions on any particular listing that there's an option to post to Craigslist. So we'll talk a little bit about setting up that Craigslist auto poster, how to edit the post, and ways that, built in to capture leads with that post, specifically text codes. And then we'll go and we'll play a little bit with text codes in the system. Now, text codes in the system are going to be located in the lead engine, your hub for capturing new leads or bringing in your existing leads or syncing your third-party leads, all available there. So we'll go and we'll play around with the existing text code, just so you know, if you're not already aware, you all have a default text code built into the system right now with some version of your name. I say some version because if there's 5 Chris's in your office, they'll have a little initial or something there to help tell them apart so that leads are correctly distributed to the correct person. And then we might even play around or approach the topic of following up with those leads captured by that text code. So that's kind of my agenda here for today. Again, bring on the questions as you have them. They don't have to necessarily be directly related to today's subject, and I will try to leave time at the end as well, just for you to pop questions in the chat. Or of course, you can raise your hand and I will unmute you if you'd rather ask your questions live. But let's jump right into it. So I mentioned that the Craigslist auto poster is an option through the listings tab. And it's one of many ways that you could promote your listings through Craigslist. In that little agenda sheet that I popped in with some additional links for you guys, if your main goal here, if you're kind of have an interest in this, but your main goal is maybe, what's the best way to promote my listings through KV Core? Some other things you may want to consider. If you have not ever taken a look at our KV Core Promote a New Listing playbook, that's an option for you as well. Keep in mind, you could also technically promote another agent's listing, assuming you have permission to do that. So various ways that you could promote a listing. You could also use our different lead gen options, landing pages or squeeze pages to promote a single listing. Those will be a topic for another day, but I just want to let you know that there's a multitude of options when it comes to this. But I often find, if I'm just looking for a quick way to pop in here and jump into my listing and share it out, this is one that I particularly find very fun. I'll go head over to this listings tab. I do see your question in the chat. I'm going to finish my thread of thought before I lose my train here. And you can go and you can filter for whatever listings that you'd like to search by, location, price range, criteria. Again, this is based on your MLS. You'll see those options there. And if I go to click on a specific listing, or actually I'm going to show you one more thing here as well. You'll notice in your Smart CRM, you have some options to adjust what columns are displayed here. There's actually a little column that's typically toggled off, but relates to our conversation here today, and it's called the Craigslist Craigslist column. And what this does, if I go and toggle this on, you'll notice that there's a little feature that shows up here, shows who has posted a listing to Craigslist. So you can tell I've used this a couple times here in the system. So if you do decide to use that Craigslist auto poster, that's a good column just to have toggled on here so you can remember which ones you have or haven't posted before. So little side note. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to click on a listing. We'll get into that Craigslist auto poster. I'm going to quickly read what it says in the chat. Arthur says, I know this is kind of off topic, just curious if you have time to discuss marketing info for sphere of influence. I'm going to have to think on that a little bit. I'm sure we do have time. If you can be a little bit more specific about, what you're looking to send to your sphere of influence, or are you just looking for suggestions on how to reach out to them or re-engage with your sphere of influence? Let me know in the chat. So I went and I clicked on a property that I've decided I want to share out to Craigslist. So some things to note when I go and open up a specific listing. If you've never been to the listing tab before, you're going to see an overview of that property, gallery of images, map. Similar listings is pulling up similar looking listings based on the photo, image, and physical description. So maybe my client just really loves the curb appeal here, or maybe they're looking for listings in that same neighborhood. It's going to show you specifically how many miles away, what price point. I can email, text it out to them. If this is my listing, I can go and add comments to the listing timeline, or, one of the perks of KV Core being this one-stop shop, this place where you can do multiple actions, multiple tech solutions all built into one place, is I can even reverse prospect here. This is a very, I feel like this is an overlooked concept, because I can actually go pull up a listing, click on matching buyers, and it's going to show me all the contacts that I have in my CRM currently that have search criteria matching this listing. So an easy way to pull that up. So that's just a little overview. For even more actions, I'm going to go over to the more actions drop down on the right. And, I could add it to their saved properties. I could generate a QR code for this listing if I want to promote it out on print advertising. But let's get to the point here, Marielle. There's a lot of social media options. In addition, there's an option to post to Craigslist. Now, before I do this, there's a couple things that you'll need to have in place before you can make your first Craigslist posting. Pretty easy to do. In that agenda that I popped in the chat, there is a little guide on how to use the Craigslist auto poster. It is a one-time download. You download an extension to Google Chrome. Side note about Google Chrome, if you guys are using a different web browser for KV Core, ideally you should be using Chrome. You may find, if you ever see that something seems a little bit buggy in the system, if you're not using Google Chrome, that may be the issue there. So definitely recommend, pretty easy to do. There's links built directly in it. So if I go and click on this KV Core extension for Chrome, it's going to pop open a little box like this. I've already got it downloaded, so I'm just seeing the option to remove from Chrome. But you go and download it, and that browser extension, pardon my reach, is going to be up in the upper right hand corner. I've got a couple of browser extensions, and it's that little blue and white house icon for KV Core. So I'll go and I'll click on that. And this is really just kind of a one-time setup. You're going to set up your URL with Craigslist. So pretty easy to do. It's essentially just asking what area or what location you're posting with, just so it's got those proper connections. And what's really nice about that feature as well is if you are, working in multiple areas, you can actually go back and reset the URL. So you can do a Craigslist in New York, New Jersey, switch it around, whatever areas you are working in personally. Just go back to that set URL option and make adjustments as needed. And someone asked that, okay, Arthur expanded on his Sphere messaging, wants to set up automated mailers. Okay, yeah. So for Sphere of Influence, we've got some great smart campaigns set up. You could also, if they have any interest in real estate, you could put them on a search alert. You could even make it monthly, if they're just kind of casually looking or just maybe just supporting you. Hey, I've got a new KV Core website. I'd love your feedback on it. A great way to just kind of introduce them in there. You could set up kind of scheduled mass email specifically for your Sphere if you wanted to be really particular about the messaging sent out. I'll try to touch on some of those as we get towards the end there, Arthur, if you don't mind. And then let's see, Andrea said, can you please send the link again? So are you talking about the link for, so the last one I posted was the YouTube channel. I'm assuming you probably mean the agenda spreadsheet. Maybe that's what you're talking about here. Andrea, feel free to elaborate if I've got the wrong one here. Here is the agenda that I've built out. And again, if you're looking for that support article on the Craigslist auto poster, that's right here. You just go and click into it. Yes, but also Craigslist. Yeah, that's going to be right here. Yeah. And that will show you this article here and the link that you go to download the KV Core extension. Okay, so you go and you download it. It'll be a browser extension up here, and you're going to go to set the URL. And don't feel like you got to remember all of this right here on the call today. Again, this article's pretty extensive. It will walk you through step by step. So we're going to set the URL. So I can click on the little purple circles, or I can scroll down here and I can look for where it is that I'm located. I'm here in California, and there's a lot of options. None are directly where I'm located, but you're going to go ahead and you're going to choose whichever one is closest to your area. For me, that would be San Diego. So I'm going to go ahead and click on San Diego here. And that's it. There's my little pop-up in the corner. Craigslist URL has been set for KV Core. That's it. I don't even need to stay on this page any longer. Now, I would maybe, refresh your KV Core platform, give it a little time, just make sure that it's all set up. This may take a minute or so to make sure that everything's connected. I find that it was pretty instantaneous, but let's go ahead and try it out now. So I'm going to go back to, I'm already on my listing here. I'm going to go to more actions, and I'm going to go to post to Craigslist. And here we go. So this is really fun. And I love that I'm on camera for this, because I'm going to click one button here, and then my hands are going to be off the keyboard because everything's going to be created for me auto magically. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to click the location that fits best. That's North San Diego County. I've got a couple different options, and my hands are off the keyboard. Here we go. And in a matter of seconds, it's created this posting for Craigslist. Look how easy. Love it. Now, this is an unpublished draft, so you don't have to worry, about it auto posting and then going back and checking that information and making sure it's correct. Keep in mind, it should have all the same information as the listing tab itself. So it's going to autofill in that description. It's going to show a location on a map. It's going to give a physical description down here. I can edit all of this if I need to, or I can hit publish if I'm all ready to go. And you'll also notice at the bottom here, we've got what we call a text code. So there's a little message at the bottom. I apologize if it's a little bit hard to see. Make my screen even larger. It says, please text message Marielle to this number for details and pictures. Now, Marielle is my default agent text code. We'll get into that default agent text code in just a minute here. Keep in mind that if, I may not want it to be my name as the text code for all situations. Maybe I would rather have it be, something to do with this specific property. I can build out my own custom text codes in here, and I could go and I could replace this. So I might keep this open. We might go back and do some editing to this post, but I'm going to kind of switch gears now and talk a little bit about text codes. So that was my little segue here. Again, I can go and I can publish this right now. It says posting will expire in 30 days. If you want more information about that Craigslist post, if you need to remove it yourself, pretty easy to go and do. If you need to go and correct that through the link. There's more details in this article, some disclaimers. Of course, be wary of scams online, happens everywhere. Craigslist is not alone. Just checking in on the chat, missed the first 5 minutes. Can this be used to market each other's listings with permission? Yes, you should be able to do that as well. Absolutely. Yeah, so lots of information in this support article for you guys. Of course, if you're attempting this on your end, if you're having any issues, concerns, bugs with that Craigslist auto poster, remember that we always are here for you. We're your true tech partner, so feel free to reach out to support if you do experience any issues, but it's typically just that simple. You go and you download that browser extension, you set your URL, and then you start posting. It's really that fast. Okay, so let's go back into the platform now, and let's head on over to our lead engine. So just a little brief overview of that lead engine. Again, this is your lead hub. Lots of automation in the platform, but it won't do you much good unless you've got your CRM full of fresh leads. Now you can bulk import your existing files of leads, sync third-party sources here, and you can generate new leads for free. There are paid options through the marketplace. If you're interested in some marketplace suggestions, I've got a little scannable QR code in that agenda for you guys, but today's mostly just about those free lead generation options, specifically text codes. I actually am going to be holding tomorrow's KV Core Success meetup as well. And then I'll be taking a deep dive on landing pages, lots of different uses for landing pages, examples for you guys. We could even create some on the spot if you've never created a landing page before. So that's my topic for tomorrow if you guys are planning on coming back same time. All right. So text codes, let me go ahead and click get started. And we'll see up in the right-hand corner, there's my personal text code. It's got my name. I'm the only Marielle in the office, so pretty easy just to keep it as my name. And if I scroll down a little bit, I'll see all the custom text codes that we have existing. That very top one is my name. Now, if for all of you, you'll probably want to go and tinker around in here a little bit, and at the very least, maybe make some edits to your individual text code, your custom agent text code. And that's because while your text code will stay the way it is, you can choose whomever texts your code, what kind of message they're going to receive. Or, if we're using this specifically for an individual listing, like I've got posted right here, I could instead pop in the MLS ID number. Additionally, anyone who texts my code, any leads captured this way, I can assign them with a custom tag that allows me not only to filter for those specific people in my smart CRM, it also allows me to possibly create some customized follow-up, like a smart campaign that's triggered by hashtags. Additionally, having a hashtag there will allow me to track my progress in business analytics. I don't know if you guys are aware, the business analytics section of your KV Core account, you can actually see which sources or which hashtags are producing new leads, which ones are being converted into clients, which ones are you closing out a deal with. So if you're trying the landing pages and squeeze pages and text codes, and you're wondering, you want to see a reflection of how well that's doing and which one you should be continuously pursuing or which one's really producing results for you, check out your business analytics section. And there will be some reports there. The more you use KV Core, the more data you're going to generate that way. All right. Enough babbling here. So I've gone and I've edited my custom text code. I just made a general message here, kind of in the case that I would add in like a little link here, letting them know, thanking them for my interest. I can include a link about the property. I just kind of filled out anything here because this, keep in mind, is a demo account. And I went and I created a hashtag, texted my code, just something to remind me, my personal label, oh, they texted my text code. So that's how I remember people that have that hashtag, that's where they came from. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to use the text code that is your name. You can create your own custom codes in here as well. So I've got a couple options already added in here. So this one, 9 Becker Drive. This text code can't be edited because it was actually created through the Promote a Listing playbook that I mentioned at the very beginning. Again, if you're looking for a good way to know all the ways that you can possibly promote your listing through KV Core, if you actually walk through that Promote a Listing playbook, it will actually give you some options. It will custom create a text code for you. There we go. I'll go and I'll click into it real quick. It'll actually create a custom text code for you. So there's that custom text code. It's created it for me. And it also has the option, if I'm choosing to do digital promotion, I have the option to post it to Craigslist. Now, this is things that's kind of pre-created for me. It's pre-created. The hashtag is pre-created, all of that. If I want to really get do my own customization here, I can make my own text codes as well. There's a little green add new button on the right. And so I've created a couple different examples here personally. I've got join today is the custom text code. So keep in mind, your text codes are meant more so for your print advertising, things like but they don't have to be, as you can see in that Craigslist auto posting. That's a digital posting that has a text code in it. But these are really useful on things like flyers, sign writers, maybe possibly even, your cards or things like that. So I've made this one join today that I would put out maybe on a flyer, or I could make a custom page on my website all about recruiting. And I might make the message, looking to join a top producing team. Text in code join today to this number. It would be your smart number. If you have more than one, you may see some different options. And I would post that out somewhere, again, on the flyer, on my custom page, wherever I feel I'm going to attract some attention. And they would go and they would text that, and I would capture leads that way. In that case, what I did when I created this text code specifically, I did a hashtag like agent recruit. So that way I remember anyone who's captured this way is someone I'm potentially trying to recruit. They have interest in joining my team. Now, if you're not looking to recruit, lots of other use cases in here as well. I've created custom code fixer-upper. This is in regard to people looking for more information on fixer-upper listings. I have this one called BH Open House. Now, this has to do with a Beverly Hills open house. I've actually created this in addition to a landing page. And again, if you're looking for information on how to create a landing page, I will get into that during tomorrow's success meetup. So this is a fun little segue here. Landing pages, you can create them for a number of reasons. You can just do it for basic lead capture. You can create a landing page where they respond to you through Facebook chat. You could create a landing page that captures addresses. But this landing page that I've created that I can post out to Facebook or Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, is about my open house in Beverly Hills. Obviously, I made this one a little while ago. And I'm telling them that if they text this code here, they'll get more complete details. And then I went and I just created that text code here in KV Core. I just went to add new, typed in the code that I wanted, and I created my own little custom message there. So that way, when they go and they text that code, that's the message that they're sent in reply. And then I, of course, added that hashtag so I can tell those people apart, send them follow-up information about that open house. You can just do it about a specific listing. I've got 123 Main Street or right there, or I've also created text codes like show me. In that case, maybe I posted that out on a flyer, asking if you would like to request a private showing of this property, text code show me. So a couple different examples I've got there. I'm sure you guys could think of even more examples. If anyone has created one of these, has an example they'd like to share, feel free to pop that in the chat or unmute yourself. Just noticed a message in the Q&A, so sorry I overlooked that. Daniel has a question about following up with closed clients is new and have closed clients from 2017. Uploaded closed clients and wanted to create a closed client drip campaign, but I'm nervous that it will send past clients messages as if they just closed. Okay, yeah, great question. I would shy away from the KV Core closed campaign. That is more so meant for your newly closed contacts. It is kind of reaching out to them as if they had just closed, because I think about a month prior or a month afterwards, I should say, after they've been on the campaign, just sends them a little message saying, how's the new house? How's it going? So yeah, not necessarily the best option from your past clients from 2017. I would definitely take a look at the other default Smart Campaign offerings, or if you have an idea of what you'd like to say, it's not too terribly hard to create your own campaign from scratch. Or you may want to consider something like a Sphere homeowner campaign. If you really want one of our pre-created campaigns, I would kind of think of those past clients more so as your Sphere at this point. So just some suggestions for you guys if you're looking for, sorry, just answering that little side question. If you're looking for more information on smart campaigns, I've also included a link about that in the agenda, because that was kind of where I'm headed to next. So we've got these text codes, we're capturing leads this way. What do we do with those leads now that we've got them? So I'm going to head on that way. I'm going to head back to our KV Core platform. We've got some examples built out. We've created some custom codes. We're sharing them out on flyers. We're sharing them out on Craigslist. Now, what do we do with those leads that we've captured? So for fun, I did go and I did text my code. Keep in mind that every time you capture a new lead in KV Core, you're going to see a reflection of that here on the activity stream. So I saw that I just captured a new lead, their property interest, because it was in relation to a property that I posted. And I also am seeing that text that they sent. So they texted my name. That's what the text says. I can go and I can respond to them here. Keep in mind when I built out that custom text code, I did also create a message reply. So they have received that message reply that I went and added in there. So that's why I would highly recommend, if you're planning on using that Craigslist auto poster, first go into those text codes and either maybe make some edits to your default text code or create a custom text code as well. Ooh, and that reminded me, I also promised to talk to you guys. Say I didn't want to use my name as that text code. Maybe I wanted to use one of the other text codes I created. Do I still have that link up there somewhere? No, I've got it on a different one. Let me just go back there real quick. Lead engine, text capture. Oh, Anthony posted in the chat, I have an instant value text code that links out to my website sell page. Ooh, I love that example. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, absolutely. So what he did there was he created a text code. He uses the code instant value, so text instant value, I'm sure the message said something like, to get more information on the value of your home, text this code. And then what he did was he included a link to his website's sell page. I'm on my search tab on my website right here. But there's that sell page right there, which great kind of another thing to point out. If you have been using KV Core a while, or if you're new to KV Core and you haven't checked out your sell page anytime recently, this has recently received a facelift. So now it showcases things like when they go to type in their address and get that home valuation report, they're going to be greeted with things like home price estimates from Adam, Zillow, CoreLogic. So lots of great information there. So yeah, thank you, Anthony. That was a great example to share with us. But anyway, so maybe I wanted instead, so maybe I want to create a text code specifically for this posting here. So I might, I would probably get, a little bit more detailed, but maybe I'll just create one real quick. I'm just going to say, we'll do this. We'll just call it Vista House, because I don't have any other text codes for homes in Vista right now. And I want to keep it pretty simple. I don't want to do something so elaborate that, they might text the code in wrong and not get the response. So I'm just going to do Vista House is the text code here. And then really easy for them to get photos and details of this home. Rather than adding in a message, because I could add in a message here, I could also just pop in that MLS ID number. So I'm going to go back, actually open multiple tabs here. Why not? Go to my listings. I'm going to just open up that property real quick, and I'm going to grab that MLS ID number. There we go. Copy it. And I'm going to head back to my text code section. Pop that MLS ID in there. There we go. It's got the home that I'm looking for. I could also choose to, do the official address if I wanted to here. And I'm going to create a hashtag for that. Maybe I'll just keep it the same, Vista House. Hashtags can be any phrase of your choosing, just no spaces. And I always recommend, make sure it's, a tag that's memorable or significant to you. Keep in mind, if you create two kind of similar hashtags, you can actually edit those, delete a hashtag, merge them if you need to through hashtag management in the marketing section of your KV Core platform as well. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to choose the relevant smart number, the one that's most relevant to me. Which smart number is it using here? Ends in 87. Looks like I've got a different one going on here. So we're going to use this text code. You probably won't have the issue where you have multiple text codes. That's kind of the issue of a demo account here. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add that code there. And then if that's the one that I want to use, I'm going to go back and I'm going to edit this posting. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to edit the post. And there is, please text message Marielle. We're going to go ahead and we're going to place that with Vista House. And I think I used a different number as well. So I'm going to make sure that I use the correct smart number because we want to make sure they're correct. They're messaging the correct number here. I'm going to paste that in as well. I'll make it look a little prettier with those parentheses. There we go. Fix the post. And I'm going to hit continue because I don't need to edit anything else. And now it's got my correct text code in there. So pretty easy for you to go and edit that if you want to change that text code out as well. All right. So let's go head on over to Smart Campaigns, talk a little bit about following up with these leads that we've captured. Keep in mind, if they're texting a code, what we're capturing is their phone number. If you do drive them back to your website and they go sign up through your website, they may go sign up with their email through your website. So you may eventually, if you're directing them back to the website, you may capture their email as well. But for these text codes, initially, you're just capturing that phone number. It is really nice because there's a good likelihood you're going to get their correct phone number. It's a little bit hard to kind of fake that because they do actually have to go to their phone. They do actually have to text it. So you're getting those phone numbers in your smart CRM. But maybe I wanted to also make sure those people are followed up with a smart campaign. So I'm going to go head on over to the marketing tab. Again, this is your automation hub. I mentioned you can go and edit things like your hashtags. You can do that here. If you want to edit automated birthday emails or texts or messages for home anniversaries, that's available here. Let's see, I think it was Arthur that had questions about following up with his sphere of influence. You could do that through a smart campaign. We've got a lot of pre-created options for you guys in here. But if you wanted just to send out kind of individual emails, maybe you want to create some holiday emails in here or some newsletters. Scheduled mass emails is a really great feature for that. You can set the date you want it to send out to. You could choose to send it out just to your status of sphere or even a more particular hashtag if you wanted to. So that's another great option for you guys as well. Well, I'm going to head on over to Smart Campaigns and keep in mind most of the pre-created campaigns available to you right now in KV Core that have been tried and tested, proven to produce results are mostly based around the different statuses and deal types you have pre-existing here in KV Core. So what I mean by that, if I go head over to our KV Core library, that's where you'll find all the pre-created campaigns. So if they're not already existing in your campaign section, you can kind of go shopping. It's totally free, but you can go shop for the campaigns that you want in that KV Core library tab. And you'll notice that, we've got campaigns for your sphere that are homeowners. So something to consider possibly for your much older past clients rather than a closed campaign. Because as I said, that closed campaign is more so meant for the clients that you have recently closed with. So that's something to consider. We've got ones for renter sphere. We've got them for new lead buyer, new lead seller, just about every kind of status deal type combination. You'll see that there's a different campaign for each because you wouldn't want to have the same conversation for each. So those are all the pre-created options here in KV Core. But obviously what we're doing here today is pretty specific. It has to do with a specific text code that I've created. So in that case, if I wanted to create a campaign as follow-up, I could create a text campaign. I could pop some phone calls in there as well. But I want it to be triggered by that hashtag. That's how I make sure that this campaign just goes out to the people that were captured from that Craigslist posting or from that text code hashtag that I created. So I'm going to actually, before I do this, just because I'm babbling all over the place and I can't even remember what text code I've created there. I'm going to have both tabs open just for peace of mind here, because I want to make sure that I'm using the right hashtag. And for some reason, it doesn't look like it saved my hashtag. So I'm going to pop that in there real quick. Always make sure not only to type in the hashtag, but you'll probably have to click it or hit enter to make sure that it's been added in there. I think in my rush, I probably typed it in and just didn't hit enter. So I'm going to go and save that. Should refresh. There we go. Now we've got a hashtag for it. So that was my hashtag Vista House. And that's what I'm going to use when I build out my custom campaign. So I'm going to go over here to add campaign. And this time, if I'm creating a custom campaign that's triggered by a hashtag, I'm going to go to hashtag is. And I like to just kind of paste it in there. It should pop up if this is one that you pre-created in KV Core, it should pop up here as an option. And then I've got some options here. Sometimes you'll see that it will default to yes for always run. You probably want to hit no here. Things to consider when you're building out campaigns, that always run question is just asking if you want that campaign to run, even if a different campaign is more appropriate for that lead. So for example, those default campaigns in KV Core, such as new lead buyer, active buyer, client buyer, they're meant to change as they go through this process. So, you're nurturing them as a new lead, and then they respond, say they're actively looking for homes. They should switch over to that active lead buyer campaign. Those should auto switch. It should change over. We don't want them both to always run because that's a lot of messaging. So in most cases, you're going to say, no, you don't want two campaign, or you don't want a campaign to always run simultaneously with another one. I could go down case uses where you might want to hit yes here. If you're doing a campaign that was based on a date-based campaign, like a birthday campaign, you could build that out as well. That's a whole different rabbit hole for a whole nother day. And I want to give some time for questions at the end too. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next here. This is designed for buyers. So I'm going to leave that as is. Next, I'm going to create a campaign name. So I'm just going to keep it all that's not what I meant to do. Sorry about my password protector there. I'm going to create a campaign. I'm just going to use that hashtag as the name. Just keep it all the same, just for my memory's sake. Vista Home. I could say text code campaign, or if I'm just using it with that Craigslist posting, I could say Craigslist campaign. Or, if I want to possibly use this in multiple places, like if I want to make more general messages that are all just about, oh, you signed up for a showing, and I could use it for multiple properties, I might want to make that more general. But I'm making a very specific campaign here. And keep in mind, even if I build this out really specifically, I could possibly, later down the line, maybe make a cloned copy of that campaign and just edit out some of the messages to fit a new listing. Something to consider. Campaign description, no one's going to see this but me. It just helps me pinpoint those. So I'm just going to put, Vista House, other things to think about when you're creating your own campaigns in here. Just for visibility's sake, I like to usually do things like, add my initials in here, either in the description or the name. Just to remember, I'm the one who created this or edited this campaign. I might even include something like the date that I've created that campaign. You'll see it actually will save a history in the campaign of every time I've gone in and edited it. But just kind of on that main campaign screen, when you're seeing all the different campaign options, this helps for visibility, for me to help pinpoint this from other campaigns I've got in here. So I'm not going to bother with a big fancy description here. I'm just going to go ahead and hit finish. There we go. Vista alert campaign. And I'm going to go ahead and not sure why that says it's created by. Oh, you know what? I think I'm the I'm looking at a different campaign. I saw Vista and my ears perked up. So I'm going to go and search by Vista. I'm going to find the one that I just created. There we go. Vista House text code campaign. I'm going to go and click on this. And before I go and turn it on, I want to add in some actions here. So keep in mind, we used text codes. So I'm going to add in some text messages, or we're capturing their phone numbers. So we want to add in some text messages or calls. I really like to start right off the bat immediately with a reminder for me to call them. I want to ideally, when I first capture that lead, reach out right away. I want to do that personal touch for them. And I can use one of these pre-created templates. I won't go too deep into detail here. Post call and don't leave a voicemail, post call and leave a voicemail. Whatever makes sense to you is a little reminder here. So I'm going to say don't leave voicemail, or maybe I will say leave voicemail. I'm going to save that for myself. And you just want to name that action there. So I'm going to say it's first call. I'm going to save it there. There we go. We've got our first immediate option there. And I'm going to follow that. I'm going to add in some text message follow-ups as well. So maybe they don't answer my first call. Maybe I'll just make sure that they receive some follow-up text messages about that. Anyways, I'm happy to go a little bit further into this, but instead of spending our whole time with that, what questions do you have for me? What questions do you have related to our topic today? What questions do you have regarding anything else KV Core related? So I know we had some questions about following up with Sphere and past client. Again, I pointed out, hopefully for you guys, in that Smart Campaigns section. Let's go head over to that KV Core library for all those pre-created options. Again, maybe take a little look at, instead of a closed campaign, take a look at those Sphere campaign options. To find out the specific details of what a campaign consists of, you can click on the name of the campaign. Or I'll go and I'll add it, and then I'll click on the name of the campaign. So I'll go and I'll add this to my library. And then I'll go and view it there. It's acting a little funny here today. So this time I'll type in Sphere. So we'll take a little look at that Sphere campaign. Thomas said, any advantage of having your own? You're talking about your own custom campaign? You're talking about your own custom text code? Which one were you? What were you? Not quite sure I know exactly where you're going with that text code. Oh yeah, so you're talking about your pre-created, your default agent text code. The perk of having your own text codes, and something that actually brings me to a great point with those text codes, even if you go and create new ones, as soon as you've created that text code is exclusive to you. None of the other agents within your company are going to be using that same exact text code. And that's how KV Core is able to correctly route leads that text your code to you. That's why I made that statement at the beginning. If there's 5 Chris's in your office, they're going to have Chris and that initial afterwards. That helps with routing leads correctly to your account. I would say the advantage of creating your own text codes, because yes, you could absolutely just use that default text code of your name and just, change out the hashtag or the message. I would say the kind of benefits or the advantages of creating different text codes or your own custom text codes is that way you can have them for different purposes, as I've shown here. So this one's specifically to follow up with leads looking at fixer-upper homes. This one's specifically I created for that open house. This one's for, my listing 123 Main Street. This one I made a little bit more general, and it's just for people signing up for a showing. And I can possibly repurpose that in for different listings. So that is what I would say would be the benefit of creating your own text codes or creating multiple text codes, because you can use them for different purposes. I might also, because you have that added benefit of being able to add a hashtag to your codes as well. Again, that really helps for searching and sorting when you go to filter or when you're going to check how the analytics are doing. Oh, and then purchasing your own smart number. Yes, that is another part of this as well. Keep in mind, it's going to be using the office smart number typically as default. Unless you're part of a team, your team might have its own smart number as well. While part of the benefit of, again, creating your own codes and the codes that no one else can use is that's how the system helps make sure those are routed correctly to you. I would say something to consider with the option of purchasing your own smart number. If you know you're going to use text codes a lot, or maybe you want to promote these text codes on, say, something like a business card. Now, flyers and sign writers, you probably won't be buying huge amounts of those. You're going to use them up and then switch to something else. But if you're using something long-term, like, your official business card, and you buy, 500, 1,000, however many business cards you're buying at a time, and you want not just your cell phone number on there, but maybe you want a smart number on there. In that case, I would definitely purchase your own smart number. Or if you're going to regularly maybe post text codes on your business cards, maybe buy your own smart number just in case, just to make sure those leads are always routed to you. You can get your own exclusive smart number, but again, kind of for text code purposes, that's why you can create your own specific ones that'll route directly to you. I hope that helped to explain kind of the pros and cons there, and why you may want to consider a smart number as opposed to using an office smart number. So it just really depends on how much you're using it and how important that is to you. Keep in mind, you don't have to only use text codes for lead capture. There's things like landing pages, squeeze pages. All right, I am going to wrap it up here in just a minute or two. So if you have any last minute questions, or if we want to talk a little bit about, I know I briefly opened up this homeowner sphere campaign. Again, if you want to take a look at the actions, check those emails, check those text messages, make sure that they're ones that you would like to use. If you do need to, maybe that sphere campaign doesn't quite fit your needs for your current sphere contacts. As long as you've grabbed that campaign from the KV Core library or made a copy of it, it'll be scoped to you, the user. And then when I go and open this, you'll see I have options to edit the messages as well. So you can go and customize that. This is a slightly lengthy campaign, goes on for quite a while here. If you want to remove some steps, you could do that as well, or just make it your own. I would just recommend, at the very least, just take a little look at what it consists of, specifically the emails and text messages, because those are the kind of things that are going to go out on your behalf, and you probably want to be prepared for what those messages say. And then let's see, I did see a message in the chat. Clint said, got in a little late, but if this is being recorded, can I have access to the recording? Absolutely, yeah. So a couple different places that recording will probably show up here. I like to, just for my own little cheat sheets that I provide you guys with, these little agendas, I like to pop the recording at the bottom for you guys of this specific meeting. So I'll give that agenda one more time in the chat for you guys. Additionally, we are working on putting all of the next the KV Core Success Meetup webinar recordings in our YouTube channel, which I think I also shared out earlier, but just in case for any latecomers, I'll share out our Inside Real Estate YouTube channel for you guys as well. Popping that in the chats. Ta-da. Yes, so you can go head on over to videos and you can see these kind of most recent ones are recordings from our success meetup. So give us a couple days or so, you'll probably see this recording up there as well for you guys. All right, that's all I have time for today. I thank you guys so much for your time, your attention. If you enjoyed learning about lead generation and you want to explore some other options, again, I will be back here same time tomorrow talking about landing pages. So hopefully I'll see some of you guys again then. Thank you guys so much for your questions. You guys were wonderful. Take care, everyone.